CRA's virtual Give Kittredge Auction and Awards Celebration.
Hello and welcome. I'm Allison Peters, Director of the Community Recreation Association, better known as the CRA. We want to thank you for joining us this evening. The CRA is so grateful for the outpouring of support that we've received over the past few months, and we really appreciate you joining us this evening as we honor our volunteers and raise funds for our programs. I've been here at the CRA for more than 10 years, and the best part of the job by far is seeing people come into the building for our programs, seeing them meet people, get to know each other, and develop that sense of community that is so important. The CRA has been here since 1923, and since that time, it has been a meeting spot for our community. That tradition continues today, almost 100 years later. For the past few months, our building has been too quiet, and we really miss the buzz of activity. It doesn't matter what day of the week it is or what season of the year it is. We're opening at 5 in the morning. Art comes in to open the doors and people stream in, whether they're using the fitness center, taking an exercise class, or using the pool. As the day progresses, we see families coming in for swim lessons and retirees playing pickleball. When school lets out, the kids invade the campus, getting together for things like after-school programs, Leaders Club, or a pickup game of basketball. When evening comes, it brings sports leagues, lots of fitness programs, and special events like concerts on the lawn. The coronavirus has been difficult for all of us. We've had to shelter in place, social distance, and wear masks. And it's been difficult for us to connect with our family, friends, and neighbors. For our staff, every day is about bringing people together, whether it's yoga, tutoring, or soccer. We watch them talk, laugh, share, and in the old days, high-fiving and fist-bumping. They were building friendships, gaining confidence, and getting stronger. COVID-19 makes it a challenge for the CRA to deliver on its goals, but it's more important than ever for us to succeed in our mission. That's why when COVID-19 hit, the CRA struck back. We found new ways to stay connected to our community and looked for new important services that our community needed. We started with our daycare program for essential workers so that our police, our firemen, or our healthcare providers could go to work and know that their children were in a safe environment. We knew that our members were looking for some exercise, so we created online exercise videos so that they could get on with their friends from the safety of their home and exercise. We adapted our free tutoring program into a Zoom tutoring program. And we started Missy's Blue Bag Project. This was named after Missy Cormier, a dear friend and member of ours, who loved to make cards and give them to her friends. We collected cards in our community and gave them out to people that were shut in so that they would feel a connection to our community. That's also when we started calling members to check in on them to make sure that they were okay and didn't need something. We also learned that some families were having a hard time putting food on the table. We made sure that the mobile food bank came to the CRA once a month, and we had 2 food drives so that we could provide food for our local food pantries. Due to the generosity of our community, we filled the lobby full of food, and our food pantries were overwhelmed. We didn't forget about our furry friends either, and we had a pet food drive. We collected supplies, food, toys, and delivered them to the local shelters. As Massachusetts starts to reopen businesses, we are anxious to gradually open our doors, and we know our members are also excited to get back to the old cowhouse. Your safety is our top priority, so we have put together new policies and procedures to make sure the reopening goes safely and smoothly. Life will not get back to normal for a while, and some things may never be the same, but the CRA will always be here for you. We've been here almost 100 years, and with your help, we'll be here for the next 100.
It's my privilege as the President of the Board of Governors of the Community Recreation Association to welcome you to the 26th Annual Give Kittredge Auction and Awards Ceremony. So today we recognize individuals who stand out because they put others first. We honor them for their volunteerism. We honor them for their generosity. We honor them for their commitment and sacrifice. We honor them for being role models, demonstrating what it means to be a good community citizen. The CRA is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to build a sense of community by offering social, educational, recreational, cultural, and wellness programs to the Central Berkshire community in a safe, welcoming environment. The people we honor today have been fundamental in driving that mission forward, and the young people we recognize are shining examples of what can be achieved when you combine strong family values and CRA programming. And at this time, I would like to introduce Dustin Belcher, who will present the Pop Smith Award to our Boy of the Year. Dustin?
Each year, the CRA presents the Norman Pop Smith Youth of the Year Award to an outstanding boy and girl who have gone above and beyond in giving their time to serve the community. The Norman Pop Smith Award began in 1969. Has had many outstanding recipients over the years. This year's recipients are no exception. They're both very deserving young adults who have come through the programs and made time to give back to those youth programs they once participated in. Both Maddie and Kevin serve as outstanding role models in our community for the kids that they've coached and worked with. I would like to congratulate Maddie Neff and Kevin Hubin, as well as their families, on receiving this very prestigious award. Kevin Hubin is the son of Marty and Robin Hubin and is a member of the class of 2020 at Wacona Regional High School. Kevin is an active volunteer in our community. He spent many years coaching and officiating in the CRA Youth Soccer and Basketball Leagues, and as a player at Wacona, Kevin volunteered to help run Warrior Nights and youth sports clinics for the younger players in our community. Each year at the Just for Kicks soccer tournament, you could find Kevin volunteering at the concession stand, helping us collect scores, or on the field officiating games. Kevin is also very dedicated to the CRA adaptive sports programs. He volunteers in buddy baseball and our swimming program. This past winter, Kevin volunteered to officiate some of the home games at the Wacona Unified Basketball games. Kevin is a member of the CRA Leaders Club program, Rotary Interact Group, and annually volunteers to go on the mission trip to help communities that are less fortunate. In addition to Kevin's volunteering, he excels in the classroom and on the athletic fields and courts. Kevin was a member of the soccer, basketball, and baseball teams at Wacona and was a captain of all three sports. On behalf of the CRA Board of Governors and staff, we would like to congratulate Kevin Hubin as the 2020 Norman Pop Smith Boy of the Year.
I'd like to begin by congratulating all of this year's award recipients, all outstanding choices. All of you have done a lot and given a lot of time to the CRA. We appreciate it and all that you do for the community. You make Dalton a better place to live. Thank you. Madeline Neff is a daughter of Jason and Marie Neff of Hinsdale, Mass. She graduated this year from Wacona Regional High School. Her senior year, she's been co-president of the Rotary Interact Club. She also attended the National Rotary Youth Leadership Conference. In recognition of her hard work, she received a Rotary Youth Leadership Scholarship this past year. She's been a member of our Youth Advisory Board for 4 years, as well as the Big Buddy, Little Buddy program. On top of all this, she's had time to volunteer tutor at the Youth Center, work in our after-school kids club program, and she was a leader at our weekly teen nights for teenagers with disabilities and special needs. In addition to this, she coached youth soccer and basketball for the CRA. Maddie's also been a member of Wacona's chapter of National Honor Society, where she received recognition this year at the state conference. In her years at Wacona, she's been a member of Tribe and captain of the lacrosse and cross-country team. This fall, Maddie plans to attend Holy Cross College to study biology and eventually plans to attend graduate school and become a PA. We congratulate Maddie and her family on these outstanding achievements, and we thank her for her years of service to our community. It's my great pleasure to award Madeline Neff the 2020 Norman Pop Smith Outstanding Girl of the Year Award.
The W. Murray Crane Community Service Award. In 2009, the CRA created the W. Murray Crane Community Service Award to recognize an individual or persons for their contributions to the CRA, Dalton, and the surrounding communities. The award is named after W. Murray Crane, who was a businessman and politician who followed the family tradition of helping and supporting families in need. He would be there for the sick or injured workers. He established scholarships for local students. He underwrote grants for slumping businesses. And when he passed away, he left the money for the creation of this building we're standing in today. This year's recipients share his philosophy of supporting the community and being there to help out whenever they're asked. Brian and Lisa Farley have been outstanding volunteers for the CRA. Volunteers are the backbone of the CRA. With a small staff and limited resources, we count on those people that are willing to help out and assist us in our ultimate goal, providing the best programs we can for the community. Both Brian and Lisa have given countless hours to ensure that both the CRA and the community reaches that goal. Lisa Farley is a volunteer youth sports coach. She serves on the CRA Basketball Advisory Board. She manages the concession stands and volunteers at all 3 of our basketball tournaments annually, as well as the Just for Kicks soccer tournament, where she puts in countless hours to make that get off the ground each year. In the summertime, we have an annual softball tournament. Even before her daughter was playing travel softball, Lisa would reach out to volunteer at that tournament each year. Her community-first approach extends beyond her time just volunteering at the CRA. She carries that same attitude in her professional career. This past spring, as students had to return to Wacona to clean out their lockers, it was Mrs. Farley in the front office that was there to greet them with a smile and hung up the posters with an inspirational message for all those students. Brian Farley, a longtime volunteer youth sports coach in both our house league and travel soccer and basketball programs, likes to share his passion for sports in the community as he serves on our CRA Soccer Advisory Board. He is another member of our Just for Kicks soccer tournament committee. He's a member of the Wacona Warriors Big Booster Club and a member of the Dalton CRA Athletic Hall of Fame nomination committee. Brian also officiates soccer and youth basketball and umpires in the Dalton Hinsdale Little League. In addition to his volunteering at the CRA, he's also served as the president of Berkshire County Youth Soccer for many years, and he's an assistant coach of the Wacona Boys basketball team. When you look at the hours the Farleys volunteer in the community and how it benefits the children, the CRA, and all the people in the community, you truly understand why they stand out. This award is not won, but it is given to the Farleys for all that they have done and continue to do for our community. On behalf of the CRA Board of Governors and staff, I present to you the 2020 W. Murray Crane Community Service Award winners, Brian and Lisa Farley.
Good evening. It is an honor to be recognized, and I thank you for this award. I also want to congratulate the other honorees today, Hill Engineering, Architects and Planners, Mr. and Mrs. Lombard, Maddie Neff, Kevin Hubin, and Brian Farley. I am grateful to share this award with my husband, Brian. I want to thank the CRA Board of Governors, ALISON Peters, Dan McMahon, and Dustin Belcher. To volunteer is to give of yourself and expect nothing in return. While that is true, the rewards you reap are immense. The smiles, the hugs, the thank yous, and the high fives bring such joy to your heart. The Dalton CRA is the heart of this community. When you walk through the front doors of the CRA, you feel a sense of home. I moved to Dalton in the middle of 8th grade, which was such a tough time to come into a new school and a new community. But I found the CRA and I played softball. It was my first coach, Mike Gallagher, who made me feel like I belonged. Then there was Jim West, my travel coach. Without him, I wouldn't have played. He drove me to and from tournaments, practices, and games. Then there was Boog. Boog Powell got me to volunteer. I was umpiring, sitting in the dunk booth at the Dalton Carnival, and working with little kids. Boog was everywhere, everyone loved him, and I wanted to be a little bit like him. You see, volunteering, giving back to your community, it's contagious in a way. Pass it on. I want to thank my family, friends, and our community. We are surrounded by wonderful families. I want to thank my husband, Brian. We make a great team. My children who inspire me every day to do good and be the best me I can be. Thank you again for recognizing and honoring our efforts. You can count on us for years to come.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Dalton CRA for this award. We certainly wouldn't be up here without the many volunteers here in Dalton. I want to congratulate this year's recipients, Mr. and Mrs. Lombard, Hill Engineering and Jeff Noble, and Kevin Hubin and Maddie Neff. Thank you for being someone that my kids can look up to. I also want to thank Allison, Dustin, and Dan, and the Board of Governors, as they are all the backbone and true heroes of the Dalton community and our youth programs. I also would like to take this time to thank some former recipients and some many others who showed me what volunteering is all about. Mr. Jim Horth, Mr. and Mrs. Jim Rivers, Mr. and Mrs. Jim Duquette, Mr. and Mrs. Chris Dumas, Mike Gallagher, Dave Brophy, Larry Moore, Dave Bueno, CRA Soccer and Hoop Boards, Ken Whitestone, Marty and Robin Hubin, the Benefit Association, the Wacona Booster Club, the Berkshire County Youth Soccer League, Jim and Pat West, Mr. and Mrs. Whitman, Ben Melly, Rob and John Kowalczyk, Ryan Quinto, Brendan and Annie Ronayne, Tim TZ Zink, Steve Cerner, Bill Cerner, John Powell, Dave O'Powell, and of course our dear friend Boog Powell. However, none of this is really possible without the inspiration that my parents have given me and showed me what volunteering is all about. So I want to thank my parents, Dick and Judy Farley. And I want to thank everybody in Dalton who makes this town special to live in. Thank you.
The John Kittredge Community Support Award. On February 23rd, 2018, the community lost a friend we counted on for decades to lend a helping hand whenever it was needed. John Kittredge, a longtime W. Murray Crane trustee, a volunteer, and a huge CRA supporter, is missed by everyone and anyone that knew him. The CRA staff and Board of Governors felt it was appropriate to name an award in his honor. And in 2019, we began awarding the John Kittredge Community Support Award to an individual or business that shares in John's unwavering optimism, his deep-seated work ethic, and his humble personality. His commitment to living a value-centered life while working to strengthen both businesses and the private community is a role model to all of us. John's energy, leadership, and belief that we all have a responsibility to strengthen our community by giving back is the cornerstone of the CRA. He would be touched and honored to know that his good friends, David and Susan Lombard, are receiving the award today that bears his name. Like John and Judy Kittredge, David and Susan Lombard have made it their life's work to support and help any community they've been involved in. The Lombards have supported dozens of projects throughout the years. So many projects it would be too difficult to name them all today. The impact of both of them is felt throughout the county. Major supporters and donors to the Berkshire United Way, the Berkshire Taconic Foundation, and the Barrington Stage Company, just to name a few. And in Dalton, we've seen them step up time and time again. They challenged the community by offering a matching grant to build the senior center. Their donation is the track that our athletes at Wacona still compete on. And even when it needed work after that first stretch of years, the Lombards were there to help that happen as well. Most recently, Dave and Susan have helped make our Hall of Fame project here at the CRA a reality. When I met with Dave and we talked about the project, he had so much passion and excitement about it. The project included building a room in the CRA building where we could display artifacts, plaques, and all the great sports history we have. It included putting on a 3-day event and bringing people back home that maybe haven't been here in decades. And it also had the major goal of creating funding so that we could continue to provide sports programs affordable to the kids in our community, and those that couldn't afford it would always have a place to go to get financial assistance. Dave and Susan Lombard gave us our first donation, and we were off the ground. We met weekly at times, and I look forward to those meetings. Dave gave us incredible guidance and support throughout the entire project. But both David and Susan both believed in not just the Hall of Fame, but they believed in the CRA. They believed in making sure the old stories of our athletes stay alive, and that every child, regardless of their financial situation, has a chance to write their story. Over the next 6 months, the Lombards made calls and helped us make connections with donors that maybe once lived in the community but haven't been here in a long time. They created so many new connections for the CRA. As the weekend approached, our room was complete. The schedule was done. We knew what it was going to look like. We still had one challenge ahead of us, though. We had to make sure this was sustainable. David and Susan were so committed to the project that they had planned a very big anniversary trip to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. They moved the trip to be at the Hall of Fame weekend. And during the event, they pledged to everybody there that they would match the next $50,000 that was donated to the Hall of Fame to ensure that we had a foundation that would be needed to make sure that future classes could have the same great experience that this class had for the Hall of Fame, and that funds were available to the kids in our community for years to come. The Lombards have been a great friend to this community. In this building, we will always remember all the things that they have done, but the constant reminder is that Hall of Fame project in the Hall of Fame room that so many in our community have already enjoyed. They themselves are true Hall of Famers. In fact, when I was writing this, I actually thought they could probably qualify for all 4 categories. So in the Hall of Fame, we honor 4 categories: contributors, athletes, coaches, and teams. The contributors goes without saying. I just listed dozens of reasons why they would go in as contributors. The athlete one might be a little bit gray there, because the criteria is, not because of any more than the criteria, and Dave was part of creating that criteria, so you can't get mad at me for this, but you have to play or live in Central Berkshire sports to be considered an athlete during his playing days, so that eliminated them. However, they can still go in as an athlete, and this is how. If we weren't restricted to the gathering size today, we could have had Jim Knoll come and maybe attest to this story. But as the story was told to me, one of the greatest and most famous, and some would say Hall of Fame worthy, halftime hook shot that was ever made in Wacona Gym was made by Dave Lombard. Now, I have to assume that Dave had to practice that shot, and Susan must have been the one that taught him and practiced with him, so they're both Hall of Fame athletes as far as I'm concerned. Certainly, they could go in as coaches. Through this entire process, Dave and Sue showed up every step of the way to give us guidance, to give us support, and even to give us encouragement. There were times through the process we were frustrated. We weren't sure we were going to get to our goal. And Dave would end every conversation and every email with these words: onward and upward. We'll get it done, he would say. We're going to get it done, he would say. They coached us through the whole process. The category I think that they go in for sure is under a team. It best fits them. For over 50 years, David and Susan Lombard have been married and worked together to support whatever community they've been a part of. This Lombard team doesn't just invest in the dollars, but the time. They invest in the effort. They invest in the support. And they make the communities they're in so much better. You are both truly a Hall of Fame team. And we are very grateful to have you be part of our CRA team. So on behalf of the CRA Board of Governors, the W. Murray Crane trustees, the CRA staff, and a very grateful community, I present the John Kittredge Community Support Award to David and Susan Lombard.
Thanks for this wonderful recognition. Hearing Dustin make all of these comments makes us say, we don't want to hear any more. We've had a wonderful opportunity to help this Hall of Fame project. It is something that I had hoped to do many, many years ago, and fortunately, Dustin and Pat West were able to carry this through. It was those two people who made it happen. We are grateful for this recognition. We are grateful for all that John Kittredge did for this community. I served with him on multiple boards, etc. And whenever there was a question, John Kittredge would give the final answer and tell us what he thought about the project. He was truly an extraordinary individual, along with his wife Judy, in this community. So once again, we are honored, we are grateful, and hopefully this will carry on for many years to be the best Hall of Fame in this area. Thank you.
The Gib Kittredge Memorial Award is given for outstanding service to our youth and programs of the community. Gilbert Gib Kittredge was a lifelong resident of Dalton who was active in the community as a director of the Pittsfield National Bank, the Berkshire Museum, the Community Recreation Association, the Boys and Girls Club of Pittsfield, the Berkshire County Red Cross, and the Country Club of Pittsfield. After his untimely death at the age of 45, the following was written about Gib in the Berkshire Eagle, October 8, 1970. His friendliness, his easy relationships with everyone he came in contact with, and his generosity of spirit came through on every level of his life. And now, 50 years later, we're still celebrating his life. We celebrate Gib's spirit of community and generosity by dedicating this annual award to his memory. And it is generally recognized as the highest honor we bestow on an individual or organization. So at this time, I'll turn the program over to Wayne Crennell, who has ably led our Board of Trustees for decades and is himself a former Gib Kittredge Award winner, to recognize our 2020 honoree. Wayne?
It's an honor to be able to present this award because I think in many cases I'm uniquely aware of how much we've benefited from our association with Hill Engineers. You've heard the background on Gib, but the reason for this award goes a little deeper. Gib was the trustee of the DYC, which at that time was the YMCA. It was completely separate from the CRA. And Gib single-handedly for 20 years kept the doors open. Every year when the money from the trust fund came in, we always seemed to get more than we expected. If there was ever a maintenance problem, somebody from Crane showed up, and if the Crane couldn't handle it, there'd be a vendor come in, we'd ask for an invoice, and they'd say, don't worry about it, Gib said it's fine. So after his death, a group of us, and this really dates me now, we decided we had to come up with an award that recognizes those people, organizations, and companies in Dalton that work behind the scenes, don't normally get the recognition, that work for the benefit of this organization, and particularly the youth. And certainly, Hill Engineer represents those characteristics. Although I'm biased, I think most of you have to admit that over the last 8 to 10 years, we've made remarkable changes in this building and the grounds. It really is amazing what we've been able to accomplish. And a lot of the credit goes to Hill Engineers and all of the people there who have taken a real interest in this organization. They guide us. In some cases, they're our conscience to make sure we don't shortcut things. They're looking out for our future. Every project manager that comes goes above and beyond. We're well aware of what's going on. And again, they're always concerned about our safety. Don't let us do something that we'll pay for in the future. I could go on, but I won't. But at the same time, Hill is always there to be a sponsor for an event or to donate, and the list goes on and on. But it's a real privilege to present the award to Jeff and all the people at Hill Engineer that we owe so much to for what we've been able to accomplish. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I'm accepting this on behalf of our company, Hill Engineers, Architects, Planners. It's been a great relationship that we've had, our whole company along with this whole organization for our 71 years in business, frankly. I know you've been around a lot longer and we weren't quite there at that point, but we tried to pick it up when we came into existence through Mr. Hill. And we go back to a lot of directors. I remember Archie and DeAngelis and so many others, since then. But again, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that it's a whole company, and there's many people in our organization at Hill who have participated in a lot of the projects around here, starting at the Dalton Youth Center, over here at the community house, sometimes out on the ball fields. And we've been very, very proud and pleased to be able to provide our services to help keep both the infrastructure and the programs going here. We're also very proud to help in supporting through sponsorship or a little bit of token donations from time to time on whatever event might be going on. I think I speak for everyone and current employees here that we're all pleased and proud to be able to continue to do that. This has been a wonderful organization in our community. I think Dalton, and I know the outreach goes to the hill towns, but certainly locally, there's very few communities that can say they have an organization like the CRA that provides so much to all the people in the community here. Supporting the programs from junior football, baseball, basketball, Little League. Many of us have participated in those ourselves, and then our children and now grandchildren. It's just great to be able to, that you guys provide those programs and we see the benefit, and it works both ways so often, just to be able to provide something for the infrastructure here to keep it all going and make it better and improved to help last into the next generations. So again, I'll keep my words short too. So I just really want to express our appreciation for this award, recognition, and it truly goes to all of our employees at Hill, from past and present and hopefully future. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Bernie KLEM, and I'm the president of the Board of Governors for the CRA. And it's time now to open the live auction. When this program ends, you'll be able to go to daltoncra.org and participate in the Give Kittredge auction. Our favorite part of the auction is actually the time when we ask people to raise their paddles and support our programs, especially our scholarship programs that help those who are in financial need. And traditionally, we give out about $25,000 annually to help those who aren't able to meet those financial responsibilities. And last year, we raised $12,000 simply by asking people to raise their paddles, their bidding paddles, during the auction. And it's time for us to do that again. Your $500 gift will sponsor one child for 2.5 weeks at our summer camp. Your $250 gift will sponsor one middle school student for 2 semesters of tutoring. Your $100 gift will buy a bucket of softballs or sponsor a child through Leaders Club. Visit the CRA website at daltoncra.org and you'll see the donate button prominent. And while you're at the CRA website making your donation, please participate in the auction. You'll find more than 20 items, including some of the perennial favorites, such as a pint of Iolata frozen yogurt per week for a year, or a beautiful Scott Taylor painting. These are all up for bid, and we hope you will participate and continue to support the CRA and its programs that benefit this community. So thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for helping us honor these individuals who have done so much for the CRA and for the community. Thank you for your generous gifts, for participating in the auction. We look forward to seeing all of you next year when we can have this event live and in person. We hope you have a wonderful evening. Good night, all.